Good morning, students. Today we are going to continue our lesson on telling time. Let's review a few things from the first lesson about the parts of a clock. Once again, we have talked about the long hand and the short hand of our clock. So our red hand is called the hour hand. It is a short hand, it's much shorter than the blue, and the blue is our minute hand, which is longer. And today we're going to be talking about how we use those to begin to tell time on a clock. So again, this is our face of the clock, the front of the clock. And our shorthand, we read that number first every time when we read a time, and then that is our hour hand. And then we read the minute hand second, and that will give us our second time for the minute. When we write time, such as this time, we say the first number first, such as 3, and then we would talk about the time when it points up to the 12. Now every time the minute hand makes it to the 12, we are going to not say the time is 3:12 because that would be incorrect. We're actually going to give it a new name when it points all the way up to the top of the clock. We are going to call that o'clock. So when we see the hour hand on a number, we say the first number, but if the minute hand is pointing all the way up to the 12, we actually write that as 3 o'clock in words. Now there's a different way to write that if you're writing it as a digital clock, and we'll be talking about time to the hour tomorrow for the digital and the analog clock. But for today, we just want to talk about how the time is always going to be o'clock when it touches the blue hand for the minutes touch the top. So I have the teaching clock here again that we were using the other day. And as you can see, I have the same time on it as the other clock. And if you'll notice, watch the hour hand as we go around the clock one full time and stop again at the 12. So as we go around, notice that the hour hand is also moving, and it is moving by one number. And when we get up to the 12, we're going to call this 4 o'clock. And if we go around again, notice the hour hand is only moving by one large number. And we stop at the top again, and this would be called 5 o'clock. And again, if we go one more time around, the hour hand is going to move to the 6, and the long minute hand is going to be touching the 12, and we're going to call this 6 o'clock. All right, notice that when we go around the clock, we only go in this forward direction. We do not turn the clock backwards. So when we go in a forward direction, we call this clockwise. So one of those words we want to make sure we know is when we're moving a clock hand, that is called clockwise. And that's an important vocabulary word to know. The way the clock moves is clockwise. So one more time, let's move the teaching clock again. We're going to go around the clock one full circle from, and our red hand is the hour hand. It is short, and it is pointing to the 7, so this we will say 7. And then when we put it to the top again, we call that o'clock. So if I do this one more time before I let you go today, if I take my short hand, which is magnetic, it's kind of cool, and I put that to pointing to the 5, I would change my time to say 5. And then when I put the minute hand pointing back up to the 12, straight up tall, we will call that o'clock. So the time we have here is 5 o'clock. Now I'm going to take it one step further. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. When you see this on your microwave clock or on your bedside table, maybe you have an alarm clock, you would write 5 o'clock like this on a digital clock. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow, but maybe think about how you see those numbers on the clock at your home. And tomorrow we'll talk more about how we tell time to the hour using both the digital and an analog clock. Have a great day, Enjoy your lessons today. Bye.